Hello, podcaster. Thanks for joining us today. Today we have a special treat. We are so excited to have an author of one of the book to movie adaptations that we're reviewing join us in a conversation. We have the best-selling author, Dhonielle Clayton, co-writer of the book Tiny Pretty Things, and the inspiration for the hit Netflix series that we all couldn't get enough of by the same title. So again, thank you so much, Dhonielle, for agreeing to meet with us. And since this is our first time meeting, let me go through and formally introduce the co-hosts. I'm Rhea.
I'm Treva.
Champagne.
And Lynn. Okay, you're Lynn. And we are the co-hosts of Read, Watch, and Wine. And so basically, we are the first all Black female book to movie adaptation podcast. And so in each of our episodes, we review a book that has been adapted into a movie or a TV series, and we discuss the adaptation. And then before we close out, we rate the adaptation. And we use a rating scale that's based on wine tasting, because that is, of course, something we absolutely love to do. The highest rating is the full glass, not necessarily based on the book, but how we feel the adaptation came through in the movie or the series. And the lowest rating is a sip of wine, because either way, we're going to drink a little bit of something. So we're currently in season 4. We have approximately 94 episodes of all types of book genres. And we have over 20,000 downloads streaming in over 90 countries. So we're very excited about that. So again, thank you for carving out a little bit of your valuable time to speak with us. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Lynn to keep it going.
And I am unmuted now. So, to give you a little background about us, we are all related. We're cousins, sisters, and our dear auntie. So we all off as a book club like years ago, probably going on like 12 years now. And we have all been avid readers from forever, basically. And so we started sharing all of our books that we enjoyed and talking about them. And in December of 2018, we actually went to Vegas as a family for a family member's birthday. And while we were there, we were discussing one of the books that was adapted into a movie, and it was horrible. We sat there for hours discussing every detail that was bad. And after a few mimosas, or several, Treva threw out the idea of starting a podcast. So the ball started rolling, and by March 2019, we created a podcast. So now that's enough about us. Would you like to tell anything about you?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I love talking to Black women about books and about TV and film. It is my favorite thing to do. So I'm super excited to be here and feel honored to be on your podcast. A little about me. I'm just a bookworm. I've always been a bookworm, nerd, glasses, loving stories. And I was a teacher and a librarian for many years. And that's how I got into the business. I was trying to get Black and brown kids to be excited about reading and be excited about books. And I was teaching at a charter school in Harlem where I live, and they were having a hard time because there weren't books that reflected their experience that were exciting, right? It was all of the books that were sort of teachable lessons. They pressed down on the bruises of their collective backgrounds, or they were, there to teach a lesson about history. And my students wanted magic. They wanted love, romance. They wanted big stories with big drama. Always the drama. And so I really felt like the publishing industry was doing them a disservice. And at the time I was getting an MFA in writing for children at a university in New York. And that's how I was like, maybe I need to show publishing what I mean by that you can have these big commercial stories that feature kids of color and people of color that are juicy and dramatic and also still touch on real life issues, but that isn't the sum of the experience. And so all of my books and all of my work that I currently do comes out of my experience of being a librarian and a teacher, just trying to change what the shelves look like, trying to make sure that every kid gets to walk into a bookstore or their classroom library or their public library and see books that reflect their experience, that are fun, that are exciting, that are engaging, that make for good TV, alongside all the things that are always about them, civil rights, slavery, struggle, right? And so my background really, and was just a nerd and a bookworm and really just wanted to change publishing. That's why I moved to New York, which is the center of publishing, or it was before the pandemic, just trying to shake some things up and really showcase what I mean when I say that you can have a story that features all different kinds of kids and it not be about the pain. It can be about other pain of like broken hearts and like not getting the dream. But yeah, so in a nutshell, yeah, just a teacher and a librarian and a nerd. Those are the three.
I love that.
That is so great. It just warms my heart. The fact that you talk about bringing the books into some of the communities, that's our ultimate goal, to work with some of these populations and get them to start reading the books. And then the fun part will be watching the film and then really having the discussion with them about the differences so that, you can sort of test the interpretation. And so, yeah, I'm excited to hear that. That's awesome. All right. So we wanted to ask you a couple of questions that we typically get from our listeners. And so we thought we'd